Welcome back everyone to Data Science for Everyone. Today we're going to be doing a basic exploratory data analysis with R and just kind of following through with everything that we've been working on in the last couple episodes. So first off, go on and we're going to start up a new R Markdown file, and we're just going to call this exploratory data analysis, and I'm going to say example. I'm going to have this as an HTML because that's how I would my preferred settings, and I'm just going to have my name in there. I'm going to hit OK, and here we're going to go on and blow this up, and I'm going to actually go and change my view to, what would I like to do? I'm going to actually zoom in on my source here to get the full screen effect in there. So I'm going to keep all of this the same. Now, one thing that I usually like to do whenever I change everything out here is go on and put in a little bit of R code. And so here we'll do something like R, and we'll do, well, I can actually show this in the console, maybe a little bit better for us. But also, before I do any of that, you know what, maybe I'll just do this. We can change this and just call this today's date for now, and we'll come back and we'll change that here in a little bit. I'm also going to save this, and I'm going to save it in my documents folder, or maybe, you know what, yeah, in my documents folder. I'm just going to call this EDA example, and this is today's April 2021, and save that. So again, we've talked about how to do markdown documents in the past, and so one thing we're going to do is inside of the setup, we're going to use our library here, and we're going to use the TidyVerse. And then I'm also going to get rid of everything we have down below for now. And I'm going to just say, call this an introduction in here. And I'm going to have a little bit of trouble. I need to make some space here so that everyone can see things. And so, introduction, I'm just going to say here, in this video, we will be covering EDA and data, covering EDA. Specifically, we'll use data visualization and transformation to explore the Diamonds Dataset. And again, that's the reason we're doing that, is just to kind of follow along with what we've been looking at in the last few lectures. So let's also go on and we've already run the TidyVerse, and actually I'm going to go on and just run that particular piece so that whenever everything is working, I'll have some kind of code completion for myself. Oops, and I want to make sure and make this full screen again. I'll toggle full screen, and I also want to zoom in on the source again. All right, so first thing that we want to kind of do here is, again, we'll talk about the two main questions that we always need to ask ourselves. Okay, I'm going to actually just put that in here. So first question is, what type of variation occurs within my variables, and what is a covariation? These are the two things that we're actually going to be looking at. All right, so then the first thing we're going to look at then is variation. And I need to, actually, I think in the setup even, we're going to go on and create our data set, or actually we already have it loaded in. And so let's do something like, let's do here, I'm going to do here, and let's say what, bar plot. So we can reference it if we want to. And we're going to be looking, first we're going to be looking at categorical variables. Okay, And also maybe even before that, we'll do just a basic glimpse of the data set. And so here we'll do glimpse here, and we'll do diamonds. So, and here I'm actually hitting just command enter or command return, just so I can kind of see the preview of what's going to be pictured out. We could do this also and turn this into a K table or something like that, but we're gonna just work on doing some basics today. All right, I know that that's going to be good, and I want this to actually not show anything, so I'm going to do echo false here. So then again, whenever it compiles, it's not going to show any of the code, because again, I want the, you know what, I'm actually even going to do that for everything. So echo false, because I want this to be actually kind of like a proper report that I would be doing for my boss. So let's go here and do GGplot diamonds, and then here we want the geom bar, and our static mappings here, x is going to be cut. Okay, I'll run this to make sure. All right, we have our nice plot in here. That works quite well. And let's see here about if we want to do anything for now. Figure caption in here, and let's do something like bar chart looking at diamond cut. Okay, and so when that compiles, we'll have something nice there. All right, I'm going to go on and clear that out as well. And then let's see, what else are we going to want to do here? We're going to also show in here our diamond counts. So I'm going to grab another in here, and let's do diamonds, and I want to do a count of cut. And we'll leave that as it is for now, because I know that's going to work. Next thing we want to look at in here is, and you know what, I'm going to do this as, yeah, that'll work. I'll do one more here, and this is going to be our continuous variables. Did I put that? Yeah, I put continuous variables. Okay. So next thing we want is, let's do GGplot in here, and we'll do diamonds again. And then we'll do something like geom histogram, and we'll do our mappings here. X is going to be caret this time, and we're going to set our bin width in here is going to be 0.5, and we'll make sure that this is a nice pretty histogram there. And I think we're going to go on and do a little bit of our data cleaning in here, because again, when we know that this particular histogram in here, we have some outliers in here, and so let's go on and make sure and create a new data frame for that. So I'm going to go in here and say data, let's call it data cleaning for now, and we'll do this, and we'll make sure that we want, again, we'll call this small for what we did before, so everything kind of matches up. We'll have diamonds in here. We're going to filter, and we want this to be on where our caret is less than 3. And we'll go on and yeah, we'll do that, and we'll call this one, and oh, we forgot to label this one as well. So we'll do cut count here, and we'll look at histogram of carets, and then here we'll say small data set creation. And we're going to also go on, and I'm going to do one more in here, and we'll do something like ggplot and our small, our aesthetic mapping, and we want, again, x is equal to caret, and then we're going to add in our geom histogram in here with our bin. Width is going to be 0.1, so that we can get something a little bit nicer, and we'll call this small hist. So, and we can run that so you guys can see. Oops, and it's because I did not, okay, I get this error here because I did not actually run this cell, or chunk. I should call them code chunks, not cells, in here. Okay, and so we have our nice smaller histogram. And I'm going to move on to talking a little bit about kind of, let's talk about maybe some typical values or standard values. And actually, I don't like using the word standard because we talk about standardization. So questions that we want to kind of answer in here. Whoops. Here, I'm going to copy this over. And these are the questions that we would want to answer with this. And so I'll put, these are just going to be bullet points. No, we'll actually number them out here. And so again, we're going to look at which values are the most common, and maybe we'll put in some explanation for why. Now we also want to look at rare values. We also want to look at some common, are there any unusual patterns? So we're going to just do one example in this, and let's see maybe what we'll want to do here. All right, we'll go through and let's do our small data set again. So we'll do, pull this up here, ggplot small, with our mapping here, x is going to be our caret, and we want to add in our geom histogram in here, and again we're going to do our bin width in here of 0.01. Okay, and we'll run that, and again so that we can kind of see here what's going to happen here, and again we can see that kind of call it like a wave format in there, and everything kind of seems to be binning around these solid numbers as well. So we will again, so let's maybe talk about what this would kind of implicate. Okay, so again, as we know in here that, again, this is just an example of what you would want to do is just give a little bit of a discussion about that histogram. So, and again, maybe it's more along the lines of questions that we need answered. And so questions that need to be answered. Okay, and so we can do something like this and say, why are more diamonds at whole carats? Okay, that's kind of the first thing that we see there. And then we'll say something like, why are there more diamonds that are, let me see here. Let's actually pull that back up so we can see. Notice here that there's a lot more that are to the right. Okay, they're kind of heavy leaning. Are more to the right of the common carats. And then we'll do one more, and for example, no, I think we'll actually just leave it at those two for now. Okay, so let's go on and talk a little bit about the next portion that we'd want to talk about maybe is some covariation. So specifically, so here is covariation. Now inside of covariation, we have a couple things that we want to do. So we'll do 3 here. We want categorical, categorical versus continuous. Okay, we also are going to do something like categorical versus categorical. And we'll also do continuous versus continuous. All right, and those are our three covariation types that we can do. And so we will go through each of these in turn. So first one that we'll do here is, again, we're going to do a basic. We've already done this in previous videos, but we're going to do a basic count plot. Okay, so let's do something like GGplot Diamonds, and again, I'm going to be doing this on the full data set. We'll do genome bar, and we want our aesthetic mapping in here of x is equal to cut, and we'll run this. Now, technically, what's happening here, this is just a categorical. Okay, we're not actually doing anything by a continuous, okay? But we are doing just a count method on here. So let's maybe go through and dig and do a little bit more, something a little bit more strenuous, let's say. So the next portion that we would want to do, and let me clear that out, it's taking up too much space for me. Whoops, wrong button in there. All right, and let's go on and insert in here. We'll talk about GGplot. We also want to do something like diamonds. We'll do an aesthetic mapping here where x is going to equal, let's see, we want to do maybe price, and then we want to add in our geom frequency, or our frequency polygraph, or poly, however you want to talk about it. And here we're going to have our color mapping in here to be cut, and then we're going to change our bin width in here to be 500. We can run that as well. And here we can see that we have another log in here, and again, it's and here I have a bit of an issue, so let me find that. It's supposed to be an H in there. Run that again, and now we don't have any errors. So that was kind of a nice thing to see here, because let me delete that, and let me, whoops, delete that, and then let me run it so you can see that again. Okay, so notice here that two things kind of popped out in here. So one is it actually showed the graphic, but then it also shows us this secondary box, and this is telling us that it's ignoring some unknown parameter, and again, it's because I misspelled bin width. Now this is nice because you need to make sure that these don't pop out, because they will show up whenever you're compiling. One thing that you can do is you can tell it to not print out errors or warnings. I would suggest you don't do that, because again, usually that means that something is wrong with your code. But also go back through and make sure that you go on and fix those. So then whenever you are compiling your report, then it's not going to show up any errors, okay, or warnings. So again, that will actually go through and compile nicely there. And let's see about one more, and we'll actually do here is a box plot. And they're probably more of the standard type of thing than when you're wanting to look at specifically our distributions. So when we're talking about, again, our continuous and our categorical variables. So we'll do this last one here, and this will be GGplot diamonds, our aesthetic mappings. X is going to be cut, Y is going to be price, and we'll add in here a geom box plot. We'll run that again just to make sure that everything's clean. Okay, that's nice and clean, and it gives us kind of what we are interested in for this analysis. We can do a couple others if we wanted to, but in an aspect of time, I think it's probably best if we go on and look at our categorical versus categorical. Now, we can do all kinds of things, but I usually prefer to do heat maps of some sort or geom tile, as it were. So we're going to use our Diamonds Dataset. We are going to do count, and we want to do this on color and cut, and then we're going to push this on into or pipe it into GGplot with our aesthetics here. X is going to be color, Y is going to be cut, and then we're going to add in here our geom tile, and with our aesthetic in here of fill is going to equal to in here. And again, if you want discussion on this, I'm looking some of the previous episodes, and that will kind of show you what needs to be done. So here we can see our nice heat map where we're able to actually look at and compare two categorical variables side by side, again using their count. All right, so the next one and final one that we're going to go through for our main covariation standpoints is looking at so doing some continuous variables, and let's talk about something like GGplot diamonds, and let me see what I would like in here. I'm going to do 3 different ones, so let's do kind of some of the nice looking ones in here. So first we'll do a geom point, and we want caret. Y here is going to be price, and we're going to set our alpha to equal 1/100. And I'm going to, I'll run it for now. And again here, so this gives us this nice kind of transparency graph in here, so we can see again that there's still bands in those areas where there's a lot of options. Now, again, this may not be your favorite to look at, and so let's also maybe do one more here with hex bin. Again, I love hex plots. So GGplot, and we'll use we'll use the full data set, and we'll do something like a geom hex in here with our aesthetic mapping. X is going to be caret, Y here is going to be price, and we'll let that run. And so here we can see our nice hex bin plot here, and we'll do one more in here, I think, just so that we can have something a little bit more fun. And so we'll do one more here where we actually use the cut width function. So let's do something like GGplot here, diamonds, aesthetics here, X is going to be caret, Y here is going to be price. We're going to add in our geom box plot, and then we're going to have our aesthetic mapping with our group here, and it's going to be cut width, and we want the caret. We're going to buy 0.1, so 1/10 of a caret each time, and then we have this nice visualization we have here. And again, you would probably want to go through and do some data cleaning as we did in the previous episodes, but again, right now I'm just showing you guys how to make a nice, very quick, very rough EDA. Now, this last bit that we're going to do here is going to be for patterns and models. Okay, and so what we're usually trying to do here is figure out whether something is going to be random chance or whether it's going to be again, whether there's actual some sort of causal relationship between items. And so the first thing that we're probably going to want to do here is go on and grab our library in here, and we'll do model R. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to move it all the way to the top and put it up here in the setup, and I'm going to rerun this. Again, I usually have a tendency to make sure, and again, it's kind of just good housekeeping, is to keep all of your imports up top, so that, again, you run that setup first and you don't have to deal with any of it later on. And again, it's just, I think it's just good housekeeping. So we'll have our model in here. We'll do lm log price here, and we'll do a log of carat as well. And our data is going to be diamonds. Okay, and we will run that. And for those of you that are kind of sometimes always wondering how we actually look at this, you can also do mod.summary, or is it summary? Summary.mod, and run this, and this can actually give you a nice output of all of your statistics. Now again, you would probably want to do some nice formatting with this, but again, we'll probably with Broom or something, but we'll leave that to another episode. For now, you can just see the summary output there, and then we're going to go on and make our plot as well. So first off, we're going to create a diamonds 2 in here, which is our diamonds, and we want to add the residuals from our mod. Then we're also going to mutate everything for our residuals, and this is going to be exponent of the residuals, because we want to take out what we've done before. And I'm going to go on and just do ggplot, and with our diamonds 2 here, and do everything in one. And we'll do something like a geom point here with our aesthetic mappings. X here is going to be carat, Y here is going to be our residuals. Now let me run this as well so that we can have the visual here, and we have our visual. And again, we maybe want to go here and do something like alpha is equal to 1 over, let's do 1 over 50 there, and we can actually kind of see a little bit of the shape from that if we want to. Now overall, this is how you would do a basic visual EDA. Underneath each of these, you would always make sure and write your report, write your description. And again, I've kind of gone through and I've started to leave out stuff, but I would go back through and do something like lm resid. Again, I would give kind of discussions here, summary of mod, and again, just make sure that you run through that. Now, the last thing that you want to do is knit everything together. And when we hit knit, it will, and again, I'm going to have to change my view here to show all panes. And you can see down here that it is compiling. It will take it a minute, and then it will pop up. And if it does this with a nice visualization, now here you can see our glimpse is a mess. Okay, so again, I would recommend probably doing some nice cleaning on here, and you can do that in a variety of different ways, but again, we're not going to take time with it here. And then here, notice we have all of our code coming out, and again, that's not what I wanted to do, so I'm going to make sure and go through, and I'll go back here in a second, but let's just go through and see if there's anything else that we want done. Again, everything looks decent here. Okay, so for example, this looks bad, so I'm going to make sure and actually not include that. And I'm going to also go through and let's see, anything else looks bad. Yeah, this looks bad in here. Okay, so I'm going to go back and go through, and we're going to clean something up. Again, this glimpse did not look good, and I want to, I don't know why my setup, oh, whoops, here. This echo, I need to actually delete, and I need to change this here. This needs to be false. I need to set this output chunk to false if I don't want anything to run. I'm going to actually do include as false here. I don't want this anymore because, again, I think it looks quite ugly. And then I believe these looked okay. I think these are the problem in here. I'm not sure why. Here, let's give a little bit of space in between them. All right, and we'll run this again. Again, one thing that you can do is you can re-render this with Command-Shift-K or Control-Shift-K, and it will automatically run it as well. And it's still okay. So now this actually looks good. And again, here these tables, I would also use something like knitter cable to clean them up. But again, that's beyond what we've been working with now. And so for now, you can have this nice exploratory data analysis that you can share with your boss. You can share with anyone that you feel like. Okay. And again, if you guys like this, please comment, subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.